I'm not a general manager, and I don't pretend to be.
You're not?
But, when I said my bold prediction was that they would trade up in drafting offensive linemen, they just did it in round 2.
So you're still right.
You know what I mean?
This guy.
So I'm saying there's a chance.
I think the idea of
What a mullet on that
well,
guy.
again, listen, the idea that this team was going to identify and go after an offensive lineman that they thought was a perfect fit was right there. You know what I mean? And they essentially traded up in round 2 to get the guy that they believe, I think, will be on the interior of their offensive line for at least the next 8 years. I think that's what they did.
Oh, I thought you.
Yeah, no,
I was
I
waiting
mean,
for you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just.
This is the first draft that you see Brad Holmes. He didn't do the typical Brad Holmes. Let me shoot up 20 picks. Let me shoot back and do this. Now, there was some funny business in the later rounds, and we'll talk about that. But he played it as is. He said, look, I don't want to move up from 28. I don't want to sacrifice any draft cap. I like to pick at 28. Our guy will be there at 28. I'm a big fan of Brad Holmes taking his guy in the first round. That I've always been a fan of. So they took his guy. You don't waste any movement. And now in the second round, you go after a guard. Like you said, a guy's going to be in the interior for 8 years. They went after need. We've been clamoring for the defensive line. A lot of people, in particularly the interior defensive line. That's what they got on Talik Washington. Talik Williams. And then in round 2, we know Frank Ragnow is getting old. We know Taylor Decker is getting old. We know Glasgow going side to side and all that. You're trying to replace the right guard every single year. You got to draft one. They drafted Rallish. And what school did he go to? He went to Georgia. We talked about this. He's drafting players from programs that still know how to coach, the way that they want to draft players. So I'm fine with it. You get another offensive lineman, and then you get a wide receiver. So I think this is the first draft we've seen where they went after the positions of need, the positions that are going to hold them down for the years to come. So I have no problem with it.
You're gonna hear from Tyleik Williams,
not sexy,
and
right
actually
there.
Baldy loves Tyleik Williams. I'm gonna play that for you in just a little bit, but on Friday everybody talked about the Lions' first round pick Tyleik Williams. So today I want to focus mainly on what they did Friday and Saturday in the draft, and just big picture it for everybody. Just a big picture look at this NFL draft. Is there one player that they took that you believe is the difference maker from them winning a Super Bowl and not? And I think clearly the answer would probably be no. Is there that one player there that is going to separate them from making a Super Bowl or not? Probably no. But as a whole, I think they got really, really, really good football players that could, over time, and by over time I mean in the next 2 or 3 years, really play in areas of need for this football team and kind of keep this period of success where the Detroit Lions are going to be in the mix every single year. Are they going to be the favorite? Maybe, maybe not. But the Detroit Lions, based on this draft, last draft, and the drafts before with Brad Holmes at the helm, have assured themselves, I should say, that they are going to be good for an elongated period of time. These players can play. How many? How fast? I don't know. But over time, I think at least 5 of these guys are going to be significant contributors to the Detroit Lions' success over the next 5-6 years.
Maz, Pete, Ricky, this is the flip side of that coin, though. Last year, because of the season that you had getting to the NFC Championship, you picked further down in the draft. Terrion Arnold is who you chose. You saw the rest of that draft kind of played out. Still waiting to see how that draft is. We give Brad Holmes credit, rightfully so, but we're still waiting to see what the 2024 draft was. Fast forward, 15-2, another situation where you're drafting at 28. This is going to be another draft where we'll see what happens down the line. It has to work. That's the only thing I would say on the opposite side. Doing it this way, figuring out the pick, the guy that's on no one's first round radar, or the guy that you move up to at the wide receiver position, or the offensive lineman that you move up to get, or last year, Terrion Arnold, it has to work this year. Because right now, we're under the assumption that, well, it's because of the injured players. Also, what people don't talk about, this schedule is a lot different than the schedule last year. You're going to need those injured players and the players you draft. So I'm fine with letting Brad cook. I'm fine with it being an underwhelming draft considering, do you want to move up in this draft? But if it doesn't work, when we revisit this, it'll be just a lot to say.
Can I just say, Maz, before you get going here, everybody in the chat, Dexter, Lee, Phil, who's Baldy? Brian Baldinger. Sorry, Brian Baldinger. I got you. Brian Baldinger will play that for you coming up on Tyleik Williams in just a bit. Maz, go for it.
Listen, man, these guys, we know their MO. They draft good guys. Call them choir boys. They let Baltimore pick up a guy named Mike Green. Now, we all saw Mike Green play. Played in the MAC, had a dominating performance in the combine. You know the guy is going to get the quarterback. And I don't remember the last time the Ravens picked up a player or the Eagles picked up a player that didn't become an all-pro killer, actually. So when you pass up guys like that, that's what's going to make us angry.
Wow.
Who did we pass up just last year?
Jalen Carter.
We passed up Jalen Carter.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Yeah.
We passed up Jalen Carter because of an off-field incident.
Yeah.
He's a killer. He is a cold-blooded killer. All right? And we got to play against him to go anywhere, to get out of the NFC. Now, I'm glad Mike Green's in the AFC. I am. Half the players that I really wanted the Lions to get, they aren't in the NFC. I'm good. Get them out of here. Philly did go. Philly took, who did they take? Jahad Campbell in the first round?
Yep.
Okay. They're going to roll the dice on him.
Okay.
I know
Lions passed on him.
I know he's had some injuries.
Right.
Okay. Whatever. Listen, the guys we took, they seem to be terrific. Especially the kid, Hussein, that they got late.
Yeah,
Hussein,
from Boise State.
The Egyptian kid. First Egyptian in the NFL.
Man.
This
Perfect
guy,
place for him.
this guy looks like, how could he not be a first-round pick from everything that comes out of his mouth
Let
and
Brad
his
cook.
heart?
Right.
So this guy knows what he's doing. I hope.
Yeah, no, that's fair to say you hope, because I hope so too. Because when they called Tyleik Williams' name, and this is on the opposite side of it, when they called his name, I said, this is crazy. Here's a 335-pound three technique from the Ohio State University that I ain't never seen. That I never saw show. This was my initial thought. I didn't see him show up on film.
Bray.
I've watched Michigan versus Ohio State my whole life, especially the last
Never
4
heard
years.
his name one
Never
time.
heard his name.
Never one time.
Never did the commentator say, "Gotta watch out for this disruptor, Tyleik Williams." So
I just remember Donovan Edwards running right up
I
the
thought
middle.
it was just me.
so when that happens, it does make you leery. Now, when we came in on Friday, I told you about Larry Johnson Sr. and I respect the guys that he coaches because I do. But just little things like that is when you head scratch for Brad. It's like you want to give him the credit, and he deserves the credit. But he deserves the credit because the first round picks, when it's 2 first rounds in every draft and you're picking in 6th or you're picking 2nd, this is going to be interesting to watch. I am really going to be watching to see what he looks like this year because he's going to be in there right away.
Did you see my tweet?
He's
going to
be in there right away.
Did you see my tweet over the weekend? And I only pointed out because of Maz what you said.
Would you rather have?
Yeah, the two teams that picked the 2 guys that I think you kind of wanted. Now look. Ratledge could be your offensive guard for the next 8 years. Can you imagine Ratledge next to Sewell for the next 8 years, 10 years? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Nobody's got a problem with it.
No.
I'm just talking about on draft day, okay? On draft day.
Yeah.
Not moving because they got 2 really good players, okay?
Yeah.
That could be good for them for a long time. So nobody's mad. But just in terms of excitement, would you rather have Jahad Campbell and Mike Green or Tyleik Williams and Tate Ratledge? I mean, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
When you got one guy going to the Eagles 2 picks later and the other guy going to the Ravens 2 picks after the Lions, it's like you can't help but now compare Jahad Campbell to Tyleik Williams and Mike Green to Tate Ratledge. That is the comparison now that I think you will have here in Detroit for a long, long time.
I'd rather Talik and Rallies only because you really do need an offensive lineman. I think he's going to pan out to be a good offensive lineman. So I think the offensive line, but to your point, you don't know, and the majority of people will probably agree with you. Oh my God, I'm struggling today.
That's all right, Bray. It's Monday.
It's Monday.
It's
man.
Well, let me do this.
It's the case of the Mondays.
Let me play Baldy. I teased the Baldy talking about your boy Tyleik
Oh,
Williams.
that's what I had to
Before
say.
you play Baldy, I want to play the phone call to Tyleik Williams,
Very
and then
good.
Baldy
I can play him
after
back
that.
to back.
Before you play that, is it because of Terry Arnold last year is why we don't necessarily why we're questioning this year's first round pick? Because we're still trying to
great
figure
point.
out what Terry Arnold is. Because Terry Arnold could very well be a very good DB for the Detroit Lions. We still don't know.
He will be.
But we don't know. And I think that has led into 2025 when you draft Talik Washington, when we're like, wait, who?
Well, that's because the team is so good as well. Not as many of those players are playing. You know, Rakestraw didn't show last year. If Rakestraw comes this year and plays at an all-pro caliber level, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, bro, let Brad cook, let Brad cook. I thought they had a really good draft. And again, I think they got football players that are going to help them stay good for an elongated period of time. Here's the Lions' call to Tyleik Williams, and then Baldy after that.
Okay, we're on the clock. What's up? Good stuff. Hey, babe.
Tyleik. It's Brad Holmes. Brad Holmes, GM of Detroit Lions. You ready to be line? All right, man. All right, man. You're going to help us out in the middle of our defense, all right? All right, man. We're fired up, man. We're going to turn the card in a little bit, all right? Congratulations. Enjoy it with your family, all right?
Tyleik, congratulations. Listen, from this point on, you make up your mind what you want to do. You know what I mean? We're drafting you for a reason, so come in here and compete, man, and help us.
Well, everyone here is very excited. Yeah,
Got a big boy.
we hear all the cheering going on. That's great. So we're looking forward to getting you here. Well, you take care. We'll see you probably tomorrow. Be great. Okay, take care. Bye.
Let's go inside the Buckeyes National Championship defense right here. Tyleik Williams, the newest Lion. Watch him just stack and shed. The basics of defensive line play. Like stack, shed, go make the play. Like he works well in a phone booth. Like just recognizing blocks, recognizing blocking patterns down the goal line. Like great suddenness and ability just to explode onto the play. Like here it is. Like right there. Bam. Protect the end zone. Don't let him score. Don't let him walk in. Make it difficult. Challenge him. It's Tyleik Williams right here. Here he is in a 3 technique. Textbook hands. Textbook here against Tennessee. Explode to the tackle. Here we go. Watch this. There it is. Now explode and go make the tackle. Just take him down. Like stack, shed. Like it's repeat, rinse, repeat. Like this guy's game, he's a technician. All right. Talented defensive line now against the Longhorns. You can't position block him. They're trying to. Nah, he covers a lot of ground. Like this guy looks like a Lion to me. All right. I don't know how a Buckeye and a Wolverine are going to play next to each other in Detroit, but him and Hutch are going to get along just fine. It's going to be fun watching the two of them against the Domers here. Like, that's how you take on a double team. You recognize it first. Now, drop it. Drop down, right? Corkscrew yourself down. Now come out of it. Come out of it and go make the play. See, like that's football. That's technical football right there. Nice job, Tyleik. I like watching him play.
And this is why I said I prefer to
Thank you to Brian
Williams
Baldinger.
and Rally. Shout out to Baldy. Baldy always does a great job.
Everybody
I think he
loves
just
Baldy.
loves Dan Campbell. I think they have some when they play it as friends, whatever. But whatever it is, he loves the Detroit Lions. And he should. See, I like the technique. This goes back to the conversation we were having about Larry Johnson Sr. You can tell the imprint that he has. His form, his technique, his stout, his feet position, where he gets his hands inside. He's able to home. He's strong as I don't know what. There's something else you want to pay attention to. He's 335, Ryan, moving like that. Once he gets into rookie camp, which will start this week coming up, then he goes into OTAs, then he goes into mini camp, then he goes into training camp, then he goes into the season. By the time the season starts, he'll be 320. He'll be playing at 320. So I'm excited to see because he's been taught the right way. He has the intangibles, and now you bring him into the NFL and what they're going to do. I like him for this team, but I love the guy that coached him. I have a lot of respect for Larry Johnson Sr. at Ohio State defensive line
Hey,
coach.
if Brad Holmes and his staff just watched that playoff run that he had, he sold me.
Sure.
He sold me. So we might not have heard about him, but you don't hear about a guy like DJ Reader either. The guys in the middle that are taking on the blockers, they allow the other guys around them to go get the quarterback. So let's face it, the interior of this Lions line just got better.
No doubt.
And when Aleem McNeil comes back, it's even going to be better.
I thought Lopez was going to be our answer in the middle.
Roy Lopez, there's another
Roy
one.
Lopez.
Lopez.
All right, now I think for the shocker,
Cowboy.
now for the shocker of the Lions draft
Okay.
is what they did in the third round. I've been really curious to get your take on this, Braylon, because I've never heard of this kid, but he's a local kid, and it feels like they gave up a lot for this kid. I mean, they identified this player, Isaac Tisla. I don't even know if I'm
Tisla,
saying
you
his
said
name
Tisla.
I think
right.
it's Tesla.
Tesla. It's not like the car, but
No.
it's
It's like
Tesla.
TEH.
Well, we're gonna know it or not know it really quick.
We're going to know it.
They gave up 3 third-round picks for the guy,
Well,
Yeah,
2
wow.
really, because they switched.
and they swapped. Okay, but essentially,
Yeah. Next year, too.
that is a value round draft. That is a high round draft. I consider a third round in today's day and age is you can get a starter in the third round.
Well, maybe they did.
Braylon, they identified this play. Dexter James, or who was it? Michigander 12-12. Worst trade I've ever seen, he says.
Easy almost had a coronary.
He did.
If you see Easy on Twitter from Saturday,
He did.
He literally almost had a coronary.
I'm sorry, Mike Smith. I'm sorry, white wide receivers scare me, LOL. $2 from Burton. Maz told Brad to trade all the thirds last week. The trade value of the trade was pretty even, says Cody. When you look at the value of the picks we gave up and the value of the player we drafted, it was a good trade based on the data. Our ARF, outstanding move. Dexter says, Cole Slaw. Like Slaw. So, hey, look, we're going to see. This feels like a big trade for a player that they identified at, I don't know if you'd say a position of need or not, but they really got some more depth there at the wide receiver position, Brad.
I don't know a lot about Isaac Tisla, and I just heard somebody sent me the RAS score, and then they sent me mine compared
All
to
the
his.
RAS scores are high.
Yeah,
There's his RAS
check
score.
out the RAS score. I think he was 993.
Brad loves RAS. He does.
I had a 996. I'm just throwing it
How
out.
about that?
But
Do we have that side by side?
they sent it. They sent it in the Woodward chat. They did.
That'd be awesome. Is that in there?
But just with that, I think it was a lot to make moves on a necessary and unknown. Could you use a wide receiver? 100%. You could definitely use a wide receiver as opposed to paying wide receivers every year for a 1-year deal. So you can use a guy. He's a tall guy, 6'4". He can run. But what else? I'm.
Well, we're going to find out, Bray. I mean,
But I feel like that's become the thing. It's always like we'll find out about the draft picks.
If you
that's
don't,
life.
if you
Did we ever hear? Wait,
Do we-
Puka Nacua.
Right.
Puka Nacua.
Who?
He wasn't top of the line, and look what he's become.
Yeah, but
that's
did they-
what this guy's going to be.
Allegedly.
And again, can I just say that guys like Puka Nacua
Yeah.
and even Cooper Kupp, to be honest with
Right.
you, have taken guys like me who are so anti, oh, you can't, how could you do this? And turned guys like me, not me, but radio guys, into, we'll find out guys.
Yeah.
Because you know that there are so many players in the NFL that are the Puka Nacuas,
Yeah.
that are the Cooper Kupps, that do come out of nowhere. Essentially, they get no buzz whatsoever, but they get to the NFL and they're these stars that you're like, holy cow, these guys can play.
Yeah.
And not only can they play, they are league leaders in certain categories. So instead of just hammering the pick of a guy which I've never seen before,
Yeah.
I'm now like, we'll see.
He's a Michigan
we'll
kid.
find out.
He's a Michigan
I
kid.
love it.
Hillsdale.
Yep.
It's about the measurables, I guess. And you look at the system. Look, the system that the Detroit Lions have, it works. Their offense is the best in the NFL. They broke the records last year. You still have the quarterback, both running backs, and the wide receivers. You add another receiver in there with Johnny Morton. They feel that he fits the profile. They want a wide receiver that can stretch the field. He runs 4.3. You are 4.1. 4.1, 4.3. You want a wide receiver that can catch the jump balls. He's 6'3.5", 6'4". He can go up. He can catch the 50-50 balls. That's what they don't have. They got Amon-Ra that does amazing in the routes. He runs amazing routes. He does amazing in the slot. He's always going to be open. You can hit him on the third down. He's a great weapon, a great tool. J-Mo, he's the big play. But you don't have that consistent guy that can run the deep post, run the go ball, catch the 50-50 jump balls, and let the ref pull his flag out. So if they want to implement that into the system, by all means, I hope he's the one that works. But I understand, I see what they see.
Here's Brad Holmes talking about those day 2 picks. Day 2, we're talking rounds 2 and 3. Talking about Isaac Tesla and Tate Ratledge, but I love it. Tesla. I'm trying not to say Tesla.
Kid,
Tesla.
great locker room guy. I think you guys are gonna really enjoy getting to know him. But he's got a little bit more versatility. He rose more as a process went along because of his versatility that we were able to find out a little bit more about. So I thought that he would just fit in just like a glove here. And then Tesla, he was one, saw him at the Senior Bowl when I went down there and hadn't watched his film yet. But just saw how he was in the run game in the team periods, just his blocking and his size, and he was just being a pest, and he was just pissing off the DBs and the defenders. And obviously it made me just want to completely watch the tape, and then you see a guy that's just big, long, smooth strider, can accelerate, can run. He's a hands catcher, can play special teams, can block, so can do a lot of things. So we're really excited to land both top 30 of his. He had on a Lions jersey. And I thought he just did like a cheesy move just to like, you know, some fanboy stuff. Like, and I'm just like, oh, come on, you didn't put a Lions jersey on. But he said, like, no, I've had it since the 8th grade. You know, and he's like, no, what better time to wear it than now? And so I really respected that. But, no, he grew up as a Lions fan through and through. But obviously that is not why we were excited to go up there and pick him. We were excited to go up there and pick him because he's big, he can run, he's tough, he's smart, he's a hands catcher, and he blocks, and he plays special teams. And that's why we're excited to go get him.
This kid showed up to his Lions pre-draft visit in his 8th grade Lions jersey.
That's great.
And you heard Brad. He thought it was just a joke. What is this guy? What is this kid doing?
Right.
It's like, it's amazing. No, the kid's like, I've been a Lions fan my entire life, and this is an absolute dream come true. Never mind just to get drafted, but to get drafted by my hometown team is like nothing. That's why they did what they did. This kid sold himself. Not like what Shedeur Sanders did. This kid did the opposite of what Shedeur Sanders did. And he got himself all the way up to the 3rd round, drafted by his hometown team.
I see Matt is already taking shots.
Right.
I love that we're on that time.
Unnecessary.
As it relates to that, look, the Lions draft a lot of guys that run through the wall for them and die for Dan Campbell and all that. That's what they want to do. It's the loyalty piece. And guys are excited. I'll do anything. I'll sacrifice for you. So these are the guys they're getting. This is the culture that they're creating. You're bringing guys in. Sometimes, though, it's less about I have a guy to die for me than I just need an MF that can go out there and make some plays. Like, I need somebody who can go out there and make some plays. I don't need all this. So it can spawn you or spurn you.
You know, one of the things, too, and I totally agree with you, and we're coming up against it here, but one of the things about these Lions, too, and, you know, man, I'm a roller coaster. I'm like a human roller coaster, man. I am so back on board with these guys now.
Man.
I love this team. I love these guys that he has drafted. Like, when you do a little bit of digging and you look a little bit into who these guys are, whether it's Tyleik Williams or Tate Ratledge or Isaac Tesla or the kid from Boise State, how don't you want to root for this kid? I mean, I'd buy what did he wear, 91?
Yeah.
And he can't wear 91 here. I mean, I guess you could, Robert Porche's number. But, I mean, how don't you root for these guys? This team is so likable. Yeah. They have players that you just love. You just want to root for these guys. And they're very, very talented players. Man, this could be another special season. Just a quick reminder, Dante 151, $5. Tickets are available for the NFL Hall of Fame game right now on SeatGeek and other ticket sellers. So
You can
thank
call
you
our guy.
for that.
Call Joel Schwartz.
Call Joel
I'm sure we'll
Schwartz.
have tickets for you if you want. Anyway,
Brad loves the guys that do it all. He loves the guys that are selfless. He loves the guys
teams.
that play special teams. He loves the guys that are block at wide receiver position. Yeah, so there is something to that. He's a guy that's 6'4". He can block. He can run. He'll do all the things. So, and also the thing I did love about him, in 2 years, no credited drops. In 2 years, no credit drops. He's gonna catch the ball. He's gonna block. So, I mean, he sounds like he could be something special. But
just quickly put a bow on Lions talk for a minute. How about back-to-back Georgia receivers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That do anything for you? What do you say? We got one spot. You two fight it out.
Maybe.
Why not?
Is that kind of what you do?
Yes.
Dan Jackson and Dominic Lovett.
never heard of either one.
Not to mention they got the guard from LSU
Oh,
in the
yeah.
5th round.
Well, Dan Jackson's a safety, isn't he?
Notice the
No,
school.
I
Miles
thought he was a
Frazier.
wide receiver.
I thought he was a safety.
Miles Frazier.
Notice the school.
Miles Frazier's a guard.
I was saying that you were just
Oh,
mentioning
yeah.
that. Yeah.
I thought there were 2 wide receivers from Georgia.
Hang on.
No.
Yep, there were. Hang on.
Yeah.
Here's the other one. Dominic
did.
Lovett
Dominic Lovett.
and Dan
Kentucky
Jackson.
Safety, Maz.
Where's Dan Jackson?
He's a wide receiver.
He's
He
no,
is?
he's a safety.
How the hell did I
Safety,
Yeah.
safety.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
Jeez.
That's okay.
Gosh, it's fine.
You're just back from Florida. It's
Yeah.
not a problem.
It's fine.
You're good.
Got that Florida man.
Very
He's
good.
got the sand in his eyes.
I was keeping an eye on the story of the draft, though,
How do you
and
know?
that was Shedeur Sanders.
Who?
My goodness.
I think Mel is still screaming.
We'll talk about that